Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's discuss the ending of The Walking Dead Season 8 trailer. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, what the hell am I looking at? Why is Rick like 65 years old? And if you were thinking, oh my god, it's genius. This whole time, he's still in his coma. I want you to pull your arm back as hard as you can and slap yourself right in the face, because no, he did not. He has not been in the coma. He did not just wake up from his coma. That is just moronic. Now, there's probably a couple different reasons for this image at the ass end of the trailer, but one thing has to do with something from the comic book, so if you're one of those people who are like, oh no, comic spoilers, just get out now, because we're diving right into that one thing. After the war, Negan is defeated but not killed. There's a time skip, and Rick he's not old, but he just has a different haircut. I don't know why the hell Rick looks so old in this one, but in the comic book, he doesn't look all that old. He still has brown hair, but he has a buzz cut, and then he's got this really long beard. 3 or 4 years has gone by, but no one's really pinpointed an exact day on it. But all the communities are working in peace, and maybe because they're showcasing this in the trailer, we might get a hint to the end of the war before we even get an end of the war, which is disappointing. But on second thought, do we really care? Because we know the good guys are definitely going to win. It's the story of how they win that is the most interesting. So I really don't care. I'm kind of open-minded, waiting to see what direction they go with this. So this could actually be the comic book version of A New Beginning, where the war is over and they've been living in peace for years, all the communities trading together and making each other stronger, and then they run into a new enemy, one of my all-time favorites from the comic book. But you might be saying, well, Ronnie, what does this mean? Does this mean that AMC has decided to put the money for the budget in their pocket instead of on the screen and give us only 8 episodes of All Out War and then 8 episodes of The New Beginning? Hence, this image that we see is probably, or maybe kind of, the mid-season premiere image, or maybe it has to do with the mid-season finale? That is a possibility. That is a serious possibility, and it is a disappointing possibility. But there's also another very clever possibility where they can actually do something that Breaking Bad did, and I'm in love with this idea, but I just don't know if they can make it work over all 16 episodes. Breaking Bad had this season where they split it in half. I believe it was like 7 episodes and 7 episodes, but it was a lot shorter than 16, and I just don't know if it can carry all the way through the 16 episodes. But this option is to do a flash forward in the beginning of season 8. Show Rick in this state and don't reveal much else. Just show that he survives the war and he has aged, and we are going to eventually catch up to that moment in time in the story, and it will be season 9. But there's also another different option they could do, which is a little more scandalous, it's a little more misleading, and I think comic book fans might kind of get a little pissed, but then maybe feel a little okay with this option. But this option is to make this nothing. This option is to open up season 8 with Rick Grimes waking up, and this is his perfect world. After the war, they have nothing but peace. Rick Grimes is old, he's aged, the apocalypse has kicked his ass, he needs a cane, which in the comic book version, I didn't tell you, he hurt his leg, that's why he has the cane, and that's why a lot of fans think that that connects to the comic book version and not the version we're talking about now, or the option rather. But this option showcases what he thinks his future is going to be in the apocalypse, and then it slowly fades away to where he's at, and he's a captive inside that container. I did a video just previously, and that's why I wanted to do that one first, where it showed Rick Grimes got captured by the trash group, and he's definitely in this container. Now, he might be in the container in the very beginning of season 8. He's dehydrated, maybe he hasn't been fed, and he's just burning away in that container, and he's daydreaming, hallucinating about what his future would be like, and this is what drives him to win the war. I think that is another option that might be a little misleading, but for me, I think it would make up for it because of how sweet it touches to the very first episode. This is paying homage to the first episode in a massive way. Rick Grimes was in a coma. He woke up in that coma still thinking he was in some kind of nightmare. But when he woke up, he had the flowers there, and it's all positioned the same way, or as far as we can tell, because we only got that one little angle, but it's positioned really similar to his episode 1. So keep in mind, this is not just to mislead the fans, but it's it's also to pay homage back then in season 1, episode 1, where he woke up next to the flowers in the hospital bed, and now maybe he's hallucinating in this metal box where they got him captive, and he's dreaming about why they're fighting this war in the apocalypse, what they are fighting for, and that's a peaceful life where they can grow old together as friends and family and build a network of communities that's not ruled by a dictator. You know what I'm saying? That's ruled with love and forgiveness and cooperation. All right, so let's run this back. So there's 3 main options. Unless you guys want to contribute some other suggestions down in the comment box, feel free to do so. But option number 1, All Out War will not be all season, and this is in fact a flash forward of Rick Grimes in the new beginning after a time skip after the war where they're all living in peace like 3 or 4 years later. And this will happen around the mid-season in season 8. Option number 2 is the same idea, except instead of happening in the mid-season of season 8, it'll happen towards the end of season 8, allowing all of season 8 to be All Out War. So option 1, half the season's All Out War. Option 2, the whole season's All Out War. The flash forward is essentially the same. It just moves depending on which they're going to go with a half and a whole season. Option number 3, this is him hallucinating or daydreaming or even just dreaming because he's malnourished, he's not being fed, he's dehydrating in that metal box. It's probably hot as shit. We saw he didn't have any clothes on and there's only a few holes in that box. My God, that's got to be hot as hell, especially where they're at. So option number 3 is he's daydreaming about what his future could be like if they just win the war, and that's his motivation. That's what he's feeding off to stay alive when he's just clinging to life in that box as a captive. So you tell me which option you like the best. I am actually leaning towards option number 3 the best, then 2's my second, my runner-up, and then option number 1 I like the least, which is having only a few episodes that is All Out War, and then going into A New Beginning after that. Now I have to say, A New Beginning, it's bittersweet because that's one of my all-time favorite story arcs in the comic book. I think the villain in A New Beginning has bigger potential than TV Negan, and I shit you not. So I am extremely excited, but on the flip side, I don't want them to rush. No rush here. Take some money out of your pockets, throw it into the budget, give us a whole damn season of war. And stop making trailers look like this is slapstick, action-packed comedy shit going on. This is supposed to be dark and brutal, blood, gore, tigers, fake kings. I don't know. And where's Eugene?